She won't say, I want you, but she'll say this instead. Psychology tricks. Love speaks in silence, where words fail to capture what the heart feels. Women rarely express desire directly. You won't hear them say, I want you, or I miss you, not because they don't feel it, but because they guard their vulnerability. Instead, they communicate through subtle, emotional cues that speak louder than words. If a man doesn't understand these signals, he misses the deeper message. Women express attraction through actions, not declarations. When she wants you, she might ask, Where have you been? Or comment, You've been quiet lately. These aren't just casual observations, they reflect how much she feels your absence. She won't confess her feelings outright because vulnerability feels risky. She wants to protect her pride and avoid seeming too eager. Instead, she'll test your reactions with playful comments or small gestures to see if you're emotionally steady and present. When a woman senses your grounded energy, her communication shifts. She might say your name more often, ask about your day, or initiate small moments to connect. These signals speak volumes, revealing her feelings long before she admits them. Understanding this subtle language lets you recognize her desires, even when her words say little. Section 1. The emotional reason she can't say, I want you. When a woman doesn't say, I want you, it's easy to misinterpret her silence as disinterest. But the truth is far from that. Her inability to directly express her emotions is often a sign of self-protection. It's not that she doesn't feel desire, it's that she's guarding her emotional vulnerability. Women don't fear wanting someone, they fear wanting the wrong person. She's afraid of being misunderstood, rejected, or worse, seen as too available. In a world where emotional honesty is sometimes met with inconsistency or even disregard, her instinct is to tread carefully. She won't make a bold statement like, I want you, because that would expose her heart too soon, making her vulnerable. Instead, she prefers to manage her feelings quietly, waiting until she feels truly safe. This cautious approach stems from an ancient psychological truth: women evaluate first and invest later. Before she can fully open her heart to you, she needs to be sure that you're emotionally stable, consistent, and grounded. She needs to feel that you're not just another man looking for a fleeting connection or chasing after her because you're bored, but someone who can create a consistent emotional environment, someone who's high value, someone who attracts women with his masculine energy. She wants to be sure you're the type of man who will show up day after day and be present in her life. This is why she holds back her words, because for her, words represent a commitment, and commitment equals emotional exposure. She can't afford to risk expressing her desires to a man who might disappear, change, or fail to offer her the emotional safety she craves. So, instead of saying, I want you, she expresses herself in subtler, safer ways. She'll test your response when she reaches out to you, not directly asking, but seeing how you react. She'll pay attention to how you respond when she jokes or flirts. Are you lighthearted and engaging, or do you make her feel uncertain? She studies the energy you bring into the room. Does it calm her, or does it complicate her world? These are the signs she watches carefully. They tell her more about your character, your stability, than any flashy compliment or grand gesture ever could. Her indirect communication is not manipulation, it's emotional intelligence. She's not trying to play games or confuse you. She's protecting herself by remaining connected while keeping a healthy distance until she feels secure enough to fully invest. And here's where many men fail: they confuse her indirectness with a lack of interest. They expect bold, declarative statements, but she offers subtlety. She's not going to spell things out for you. She's giving you tiny openings, little hints, hoping you'll recognize them and take the lead. She's not saying, I want you, but she might ask you about your day because she wants to stay connected to your world. She won't openly say, I miss you, but she'll mention a special moment you shared because she longs to recreate that emotional bond. She won't tell you, I need to see you, but she'll give you clues about her schedule, subtly hinting that she wants you to take the initiative and create a shared moment together. These little things may seem insignificant to you, but to her, they're her way of testing whether you're the kind of man who can lead her into a deeper emotional connection. The high value man knows this. He understands that she's not playing hard to get, but rather offering a glimpse into her deeper emotions without exposing herself too soon. The core of her behavior lies in her need for emotional security. She won't give you everything right away because she doesn't want to risk her heart with someone who isn't worthy of it. She's waiting to see if you're stable enough to handle her vulnerability without shattering it. She's curious, but she's also cautious. And when you understand this, you'll realize that her silence isn't a sign of disinterest, but a bridge she's building towards something deeper. Be the man who doesn't judge her silence as rejection, but sees it for what it is: a careful dance of desire and fear, a complex balancing act of curiosity and caution. Show her that you're worthy of the emotional exposure she's so hesitant to offer. Be the high value man who attracts women with his grounded masculine energy. That is what she's waiting for: someone who can handle the weight of her heart without faltering. Section 2. The hidden phrases women use instead of "I want you." When a woman feels a pull toward a man but isn't ready to bare her heart just yet, she doesn't come right out and say, "I want you." Instead, she'll speak in a more subtle, indirect way, phrases that carry emotional weight without sounding too vulnerable. These aren't just random words, they are coded messages, small but powerful clues to her feelings. This language exists as a protective shield for her pride, while still allowing her to connect with you emotionally. It's an intricate dance of desire and fear, where she's testing the waters, inching closer without fully diving in. These phrases come from a place of emotional tension. She feels the pull to get closer, but the fear of getting hurt holds her back. Understanding this is one of the key psychology tricks that can unlock the secrets of female psychology and help you understand how to fall in love with someone who's holding back just a bit. Take, for example, the simple phrase, "Where have you been?" At first glance, it sounds like a casual comment, maybe even playful. But when you look deeper, you'll see it's so much more than that. It's her way of saying, "I missed you," without actually saying it. Her ego won't allow her to make a direct confession of desire, so instead, she wraps it up in a question that feels lighthearted, but is actually rooted in a much deeper longing. She's signaling that she noticed your absence, that she felt a gap in her day when you weren't around, and she wants to know why you didn't reach out. In female psychology, this is an emotionally coded signal, an invitation to lean in closer, a chance to show that you're present in her life. Don't dismiss it. She's speaking in her own language, and if you're the kind of high-value man who understands these psychology tricks, you'll recognize the message underneath. Another phrase she'll use when she's beginning to let her guard down is, "I thought about you today." It sounds innocent enough, but it's actually one of the most revealing things she can say. She's telling you, "You've been on my mind more than I expected, more than I wanted." And that's the kicker. She's trying to downplay the depth of it. She'll give you just a little bit, letting you know that she thought about you, but not revealing how often or for how long. What she's really telling you is that you're important to her, even if she's not yet ready to show the full extent of her feelings. It's a safe revelation, honest enough to keep the connection alive, but subtle enough to protect her heart. If you know how to decode these phrases, you'll see that she's giving you a glimpse of her true emotions, even when she can't fully express them. And that, my friend, is one of the core psychology tricks women use when they're trying to figure out how to fall in love with someone without exposing their vulnerability too early. There's also the classic line, "You're different." When a woman says this, don't assume she's just talking about your appearance or your style. She's not saying, "I like your haircut" or "I think your clothes are cool." No, she's talking about the way you make her feel. It's deeper than that. She's recognizing something in you that stands out from the rest: your focus, your presence, your calmness. It's something intangible, but it's the very thing that draws her in. In female psychology, this is a coded compliment that speaks to your emotional stability, your grounded energy. You're the kind of man who stands apart from the others. You're not desperate. You're not playing games. You're genuine, and she notices that. Saying "you're different" is her way of acknowledging your value without openly admitting her attraction. It's a subtle but powerful confession, one of the clearest signs she's interested in you without saying it outright. Women also have a unique way of expressing interest through questions they don't really need the answer to. "What are you doing later?" It sounds like casual curiosity, but it's really an invitation. Are you going out tonight? Isn't just a random question. It's a way of saying, I want to be a part of your world. These questions aren't about the facts, they're about connection. And then there's the question that may seem simple, but carries a lot of emotional weight. Did you eat? For her, asking about your well being is more than just polite, it's a way of showing she cares. She's checking in, making sure you're okay, and expressing interest in your life in a way that feels comfortable to her. These small questions may seem trivial, but in reality, they are emotional gestures, subtle openings that create a bridge between the two of you. Finally, women love to bring up nostalgic phrases like remember when or I still laugh about that thing you said. These aren't just random memories, they're emotional openings. By revisiting shared moments, she's reactivating the emotional connection between you. She's testing to see if the spark is still there and whether you're still emotionally invested in the moments you shared. Nostalgia is a powerful tool in female psychology because it's a safe way for her to reconnect with you emotionally without making any big, vulnerable declarations. It's like planting a seed, testing the soil, and seeing if it's time for the next step in the relationship. All of these phrases reveal something important. A woman doesn't always express desire through bold declarations. She does it through emotional breadcrumbs, small, subtle signals that lead you straight to the heart of her feelings. Each phrase, though seemingly small on its own, builds a path towards something deeper. And the man who understands these psychology tricks, who can read between the lines and see the message behind the message, is the man who will earn her trust, her connection, and her heart. So, don't miss the chance to recognize these emotional cues. They're her way of saying, I'm interested, without saying it outright. If you're the kind of man who can spot these signs, you'll be well on your way to attracting the love and connection you desire. If you found this insight valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who could benefit from understanding the subtle signs women use to express interest. And, of course, subscribe for more wisdom on how to navigate the complexities of attraction. Comment below to affirm, I see the hidden messages behind her words. By embracing this knowledge, you'll be able to connect on a deeper level and recognize the unspoken signals that lead to true attraction. Section 3. How her actions reveal the desire her words hide. She won't say, I want you, but her actions will speak volumes, louder than her words ever could. The truth she tries to keep hidden will always be exposed through her behavior. You see, a woman's actions are a reflection of her deepest desires, and when she's attracted to you, she can't help but act in ways that reveal what she refuses to say. Attraction has this undeniable power to make her behave in ways that even she can't control. Even when she tries to appear indifferent or composed, her body language betrays her. Remember the old Stoic wisdom, the body never lies. Her behavior is a window into her emotions, and if you know how to read it, you will understand her feelings long before the words ever come. While she may never utter the phrase, I want you, pay attention to how she moves around you. Her behavior speaks the truth her words keep locked away. One of the most significant signs is the change in how attentive she becomes when you're around. She may not tell you directly, but when she's emotionally invested, she'll become hyper-aware of your presence. The little details she picks up on, the casual things you say, your mood, your tone, these are all signs of a deeper emotional connection. She may never announce her interest, but her actions, paying attention to the smallest things, noticing the changes in you, are her way of showing it. As the old Stoic saying goes, we are what we repeatedly do. And what she does repeatedly is observe you with unmatched focus. You must recognize this for what it is, her emotional investment. Another key behavioral shift is inconsistency. Women who are emotionally neutral act predictably, but when a woman is emotionally impacted by you, she will become unpredictable. She may pull away suddenly and then return with warmth. One moment she's teasing you, the next she's shy and reserved. These aren't signs of confusion, they are signs of impact. You are affecting her in ways she's trying to manage. She won't admit it, but the emotional roller coaster she's on is because of you. The Stoics taught us to embrace the unchangeable and to control what we can. In her case, She's struggling with something internal that she cannot control, her feelings for you. Then there's the subtle desire for proximity. It's never a coincidence. She will find reasons to be near you, even if it appears casual. She might position herself next to you in group settings, sit a little too close, or linger when the conversation ends. She might not admit that being near you makes her feel good, but her body will always reveal it. Her posture will soften, her eyes will linger longer on you, and she may even unconsciously mirror your movements. This isn't flirting, it's her nervous system drawing her closer to yours, something even the best of us can't control. And as a man who understands this, you must read these signs with the sharpness of a Stoic, a master of emotional intelligence. Her emotional sensitivity to your attention is another key indicator. If you become distant, she feels it immediately. If your responses are slower, if your tone shifts, she'll notice it and adjust. She may not openly comment on it, but her behavior will subtly change to reflect how she feels you are treating her. If you're indifferent or cold, she will mirror that energy. If you are warm, she will match your tone. A woman who doesn't care wouldn't react. But a woman who's emotionally connected to you will instinctively adjust her behavior to align with yours. She is emotionally synchronized with your energy, even when she's trying to hide it. And here's the final piece of the puzzle. She becomes subtly defensive about you. You won't hear her say, "I want you to myself," but you will see it in her reactions when other women get too close. If she senses you pulling away or showing interest elsewhere, you'll notice an unspoken tension, a sense of protectiveness. It's jealousy without the words, but with every micro-expression, she shows that she's guarding something, her feelings for you. It's the iron mind at work. She won't let her guard down, but you must notice when that guard weakens. In all of these behaviors, the truth is clear. She feels something she's not ready to admit. She may never speak the words, "I want you," but her actions will tell you everything you need to know. As a man who understands the power of emotional intelligence, you don't need verbal confirmation. You read the patterns, her shifts in attention, her subtle desire for proximity, the emotional sensitivity to your energy. When you see these signs, you must act decisively. The Stoic mindset is about control, not of others, but of yourself, understanding when to move forward and when to wait. It's about reading the cues the world gives you and responding with certainty and strength. Remember, we do not rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training. Train yourself to notice these signals, and you will master the art of reading her like a true Stoic, confident, focused, and unshakable. In modern life, men often overlook these subtle signs. But you, armed with the knowledge of Old Stoic wisdom and the understanding of human behavior, will rise above. Don't let the moment pass you by. Recognize these signs. Embrace them. And you will win her heart, not with words, but with the power of understanding and emotional mastery. The Stoic way is the way of the true winner. Section 4. Why her indirect words matter more than a direct confession. In the intricate dance of attraction, understanding the true nature of a woman's feelings is crucial for any high-value man seeking to attract women and truly connect. Women don't always lay their cards on the table with a direct, "I want you." Instead, they often speak through subtle, indirect signals that carry far more weight and truth than any bold confession could. The reason for this is simple. Her indirect words come from a place of raw emotional instinct, not calculated thought. When she speaks directly, she has already processed, analyzed, and anticipated the potential outcomes of what she says. But when she hints, dances around the subject, or drops a comment that doesn't quite reveal everything, she's sharing something unfiltered, something that slipped out before her pride or ego could polish it. This is why a high-value man must understand that these indirect expressions carry more honesty than any clear-cut confession ever could. Women rarely express their desires bluntly because doing so would require a level of certainty that many of them don't possess, and they don't want to risk exposure or rejection. Indirect signals, on the other hand, are the emotional equivalent of letting their guard down, showing a vulnerability that speaks volumes about how much you truly matter to her. When she asks, "Why didn't you text me back?" It's not a simple request for an explanation. She's revealing that your absence affects her in ways she doesn't quite know how to express. If she says, I miss talking like we used to, don't assume it's a casual remark. It's her acknowledging that the emotional bond you share still lingers, and she feels the distance even if she tries to sound nonchalant. And when she says, you've changed, it's not just a statement about you, it's a quiet admission that your energy, your presence, matters to her in a deeper way than she expected. These indirect phrases aren't confessions, but they carry the emotional weight of one because they come from a place of emotional vulnerability rather than a place of calculated intent. What makes these subtle, indirect words so important is that they give you insight into where she stands emotionally without forcing you into a reactive role. She's testing the waters, trying to see if you're a safe space for her desires. She wants to know if your presence is stable enough for her to open up, if you're mature enough to handle her emotions, and if you can accept her interest without misusing it. So, when you encounter these soft signals, don't mistake them for mixed feelings or uncertainty. Understand that they are a woman's way of protecting herself emotionally. It's not manipulation, it's emotional self-defense. The man who misreads these signals will miss the very thing she's trying to express. Instead of pushing her away, recognize that she's offering you a glimpse into her inner world, a world where desire exists, but it's been veiled by her natural instinct to protect herself. There's also a societal aspect at play. Women are often taught that it's better to be desired than to show desire. A woman who chases after a man directly risks judgment, embarrassment, and potential emotional loss. Because of this, women learn early on to express interest in ways that allow them to retreat without feeling vulnerable or exposed. Her indirect words become her emotional shield, a way to communicate interest while protecting herself from a disappointing outcome. These subtle signals let her stay connected to you without putting herself in a vulnerable position. She can show interest without sacrificing her dignity, staying just close enough to maintain the connection, but not so exposed that she feels emotionally at risk. This is why indirect communication matters so much. It's more honest than direct statements, which can often be a mere formality. A woman might tell you she wants nothing to do with you while her actions speak volumes. She might pretend to be indifferent because the intensity of her emotions is too overwhelming to admit outright. Her truth lies in the small things, the questions she asks, the tone of her voice, the casual comments that reveal how much she cares. When she starts talking about the past or bringing up old memories, it's not an accident. It's her way of reconnecting with the version of you who made her feel something special. The man who learns to read between the lines, who can interpret the subtle emotional signals, gains access to the truest form of her desire. And here's the final reason why her indirect words are so revealing. They are involuntary. These aren't carefully thought out declarations, they are impulses that slip through before she can censor them. She can't stop herself from asking about your day if she's thinking about you. She can't stop herself from checking in when she feels you pulling away. These small gestures are as close as you'll ever get to an unfiltered confession of her desire, because they happen before her pride or fear can take over. If you're a high-value man with the right mindset, these subtle cues will speak to you louder than any bold declaration ever could. Recognize them for what they are, genuine, raw emotions that show just how deeply you matter to her. By learning to read these signals, you'll tap into the purest form of attraction, a woman's desire, not filtered through her fears or ego, but expressed from the depths of her heart. This is where her true interest resides, and it's yours for the taking. If you want to decode the hidden language of attraction and become a man who truly understands women, it's time to pay attention to the subtle signals she sends. These unspoken words speak volumes, and learning to recognize them will unlock the most authentic side of her desire. If you're ready to see beyond the surface, comment below and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights that will elevate your understanding of attraction. Comment to remember. Her indirect words reveal her deepest feelings. Section 5. How her fear of losing you shapes her words. A woman's indirect communication becomes even more revealing when fear enters the picture, not the fear of you, but the fear of losing the emotional connection that she secretly values. This isn't some dramatic, sudden shift. It starts quietly, almost imperceptibly. But when she begins to sense distance, when your energy shifts, when your attention softens, her words begin to change in ways that expose her vulnerability more clearly than she intends. She still won't say, I want you. Admitting that would give you emotional leverage, and she's not ready to hand over that power. But her fear of losing the connection, of feeling that emotional distance grow, reshapes the tone, timing, and intention behind everything she says. This is where the true psychology tricks come into play, giving you insights into her deepest feelings through her indirect words. You must understand that this fear is not always loud and dramatic. It's subtle. At first, it manifests in small, seemingly innocent ways. She becomes more attentive to your replies, more sensitive to your schedule, more reactive to the spaces between your messages. She will ask questions that sound casual but are actually driven by deep emotional concern. Questions like, are you okay? Or did something happen? These are not just polite inquiries. They're her way of making sure she hasn't unknowingly pushed you away. They're not about the surface level concern for your well being. They're about checking the emotional temperature between the two of you. This is one of the most telling aspects of female psychology. When a woman is invested, she's hyper aware of any signs of emotional distance. Even though she doesn't express direct desire, the urgency in her voice betrays her emotional investment. The words may be soft, but the fear lurking beneath them is palpable. She's scared of losing the connection, and this fear naturally makes her more expressive. She's trying to communicate without giving away too much, because vulnerability is a double-edged sword. It's easier for her to frame it as a casual question, as if she's just checking in. But make no mistake, her emotional investment is real, and it's starting to spill out. Then, as this fear grows stronger, her indirect signals intensify. She might suddenly show more interest in your life, asking you about things she never cared about before. She might send you things that remind her of you, songs, photos, memes, not just random content, but things that show her mind keeps returning to you out of emotional need. She may even become slightly defensive or protective when she thinks someone else might be gaining your attention. She won't say, I'm afraid someone else will take you, but her tone, her timing, the subtle jealousy in her actions will give her away. This is female psychology at its most subtle. Fear magnifies honesty in ways that even she can't fully control. And when fear grips her heart, she's more likely to show you her true feelings, even if she doesn't say them outright. Now, women don't like admitting this kind of fear. It contradicts the narrative they want to project: independence, confidence, emotional stability. They're taught that being emotionally vulnerable is a weakness. But the truth is, emotional connection softens even the strongest woman. When she fears losing that connection, her communication becomes softer, more vulnerable. You'll hear comments like, don't disappear on me, or I hope you're still around. These may sound like playful remarks, but each one carries the emotional weight of someone trying desperately to hold on to something meaningful. She's not directly asking for your presence, she's pleading for reassurance. She's seeking comfort in the guise of casual words, but underneath it all, she's hoping that you'll offer the emotional stability she craves. These are the hidden psychology tricks she uses to test if you're still emotionally available, still connected. Her fear of losing you also affects her timing. She will reach out at unexpected moments, check on you more frequently, or reply faster than usual. It's as if uncertainty has heightened her emotional alertness. She might not admit that she's worried, but her actions will give her away. She won't leave a message hanging, and she won't leave you wondering about her. A woman who's indifferent to you won't adjust her rhythm for anyone, but a woman who fears losing you will always adjust hers to match yours, even if it's disguised as casual behavior. The fear of emotional loss compels her to stay in tune with you, to make sure you're still in sync. The key truth here is this: when a woman's fear speaks, her pride weakens and her desire becomes unmistakably visible. She still won't say, I want you, but she will say everything around it. Every indirect phrase, every cautious question, every nostalgic reference, every emotionally charged comment, all of these are signals she's sending, hoping you'll pick up on them. Her fear of losing you reveals her longing far more clearly than any direct confession ever could. This is a crucial part of understanding female psychology. Desire doesn't always shout, it often whispers, and it's up to you to listen carefully. To decode her true feelings, you must understand that these fears are her most authentic expression of vulnerability. And it's in that vulnerability that you'll find the real key to how to fall in love with her. The man who can read these subtle, indirect cues is the man who holds the power to connect with her on a deeper emotional level. Recognize these moments, understand the deeper psychology tricks behind them, and you'll have the chance to build something truly meaningful. Section 6. The greatest mistake men make. In the end, the greatest mistake men make is misjudging a woman's desire by what she says. They fall into the trap of waiting for the direct confession, the perfect sentence, the unmistakable declaration, I want you, I miss you, I can't stop thinking about you. But the truth is, female desire has never been measured by her words. It thrives in the subtle shifts, the quiet invitations, the emotional imprints she leaves on every interaction, all without ever admitting their true meaning. She will rarely, if ever, lay bare her emotions with bold vulnerability. Instead, she reveals them through the little things, the ways she tries to stay close, to remain present, even when pride keeps her from saying the truth outright. Her indirect phrases are not signs of confusion, but of emotional caution. She's not hiding because she doesn't care. She's hiding because she cares far more deeply than she's willing to let anyone, including herself, see. Every question she asks, every memory she shares, every moment she reaches out just to hear your voice again, carries a message louder than any confession could ever be. She won't say, I want you, but rest assured, she'll say the things that only a woman who truly wants you would dare to express. Once you learn to interpret the difference, you'll stop needing the words altogether, because the emotion beneath them will become unmistakable. Her truth shows itself at the edges of her restraint, the crack in her voice when she feels a distance between you, the softness in her tone when your energy shifts, the warmth she offers when she senses you drifting away. Her pride keeps her feelings on the surface, but her fear reveals their depth. And when her silence finally breaks, not with a confession, but with an emotional question, you'll see her desire in its purest form, unpolished, unprepared, unguarded. That moment tells you everything you need to know. It exposes the one truth she has spent weeks trying to protect. You mean something to her. This understanding is not just a psychological trick, it's a mastery of emotional intelligence. The Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that real strength lies in understanding the things left unsaid, in seeing through the layers people build around their emotions. Stoicism win is not about waiting for someone to say what you want to hear. It's about knowing what they mean without needing the words. It's about recognizing the vulnerability in their actions, their pauses, and their silences. An iron mind doesn't crave the obvious. It knows that the most powerful messages often come without a sound. In today's world, where direct communication is often taken for granted, you must learn to read between the lines. You must train yourself to pick up on the subtle clues, to listen to what's not being said. Men who thrive understand that they don't need constant verbal affirmation. They know the true language of connection lies in the nuances of behavior, not the obvious statements. Her silence isn't a lack of feeling, it's the manifestation of a deeper care that she's not yet ready to reveal. This is where you must be the rock, strong, perceptive, unwavering. Let her subtlety guide you. When she asks, are you still there, or shares a fleeting memory of a moment you thought was forgotten, that's when you recognize her desire. You don't need a confession to know that you mean something to her. You need only to pay attention to be unspoken. So, let's be clear. You must stop waiting for a grand declaration of love or longing. Real strength, real success in relationships lies in the ability to understand what is unsaid. Don't fall for the mistake of believing that words alone define desire. Cultivate your inner strength, your stoic resolve, and your iron mind. Observe, listen, and be present. That's where the true connection lies. Understand the silent language of emotions, and you'll never again miss the depth of a woman's feelings. You will see her for who she truly is, a person who feels deeply, even when she can't say it. And you'll know that in the end, actions speak louder than words. If you found this video valuable, Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our psychology tips and tricks. And hey, if you have thoughts or want to dive deeper into today's topic, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback and start a conversation with you. Remember, understanding these subtle signs can make all the difference in how you connect with others. So keep your mind sharp, stay confident, and always trust your instincts. Until next time, stay strong, stay aware, and remember, you've got the power to influence the world around you.